Thank you, Sonu. Dr. P. A. Mattu is the founder, chairman, and principal of GRACE. He is an alumnus of Madras Christian College and received his doctorate in international economics from JNU, New Delhi. He was the head of Department of Economics at Christ University, Bangalore, associate professor at Symbiosis University, Pune, and director of FISA Business School, Ernakulam. We request you to deliver the welcome address and introduce the Chief Resource Person, Dr. Thejo Jose. So please
So your
unmute
mic
your.
is off.
Yes, sorry. Okay, thank you, Joffrey, for the warm words of introduction. Um, Respected resource person for the day, Dr. Thejo Jose, participants of the seminar, convener of this particular seminar, Renu George, other faculty members of Grace International Academy, and ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to one and all present out here. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the Chief Resource Person, Dr. Thejo Jose, who's got wide experience in this particular area. And I'll be introducing him in detail, but to welcome him in the beginning itself for this particular seminar. Secondly, I want to say welcome all the participants who have accepted our invitation to come for this particular seminar. Almost 250 people are there, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thirdly, I want to welcome all the faculty members of this college. And I want to especially welcome one of the teachers who has organized this, Ms. Renu George, and other people who have helped her out, like Joshi and Matthew and other people. And I want to welcome all the students who have been part of this thing, especially the video has been made by the students, and they are the people who do a lot of work behind the scenes, and I want to welcome all of them. First, few words about, I don't want to be this to be a long session. I just want to say a few words about why we thought about this particular session. There are three things which really changed the world. One is about globalization. Secondly, about growing economy, and there was changes in the regulatory and the tax environment. These are the three reasons why accounting as a career or finance as a career has really come up in the last 20 to 30 years. So a lot of people have been attracted to this career, and they feel that this is basically a passport to success. But there are a lot of misconceptions about this career also. A lot of people feel that this is an easy game. A lot of people believe that you have a magic pill to success. But it's not the case. And I want to say this especially because there are a lot of fly-by-night operators in this particular field. People who claim that they have the means to solve all the solutions to the accounting career. They promise the students that they will be able to give them a career in just through a magic pill. It's not the case. So these people who actually try to promise the moon to the students actually don't think about the situation of the students after they join the course. They usually employ very, very powerful salesman who goes to schools and colleges, tell the students that here is the opportunity, you please come and join, and overnight you can become a success. This is the misconception we want to clear today. We want somebody who knows about this particular field to say the reality about accounting courses, the plus as well as the minus. And I'm sure that most of the people who are present out here are people who are in some way looking for a career or part of it. But they should know the reality with regard to the accounting career. I am saying about fly-by-night operators essentially because this was an easy way to make money for them. Okay, and they cheat the students. And both me as well as Dr. Thejo has been eyewitness to this. A very famous accounting coaching center, usually advertised in at the back of newspapers, at the side of the buses. They promise the students everything. They make them make them join the students in their courses, and then they're not basically bothered about them. I have met so many students like that in my life. Okay, they just leave the course and then finally come and basically like say tell us that say I have lost everything. I want to start fresh. So this is the main reason why we thought say we need to clear this mess with regard to what is this whole accounting career is about. And when we thought about it, say we had only one person in mind, that is Dr. Thejo. I'm not going to go by whatever which has been given to you in his profile. Okay, and his profile is probably like say if a person who started off from Kerala and has ended up in the land beyond the seven seas. He is what is not there in the profile is that he's a rank holder of MG University. He studied in one of the most famous colleges called the Sacred Arts College, and he got a rank for the postgraduate degree. He started teaching at an age when people actually say go and do many other things, and he taught in basically Rajagiri. Okay, and then he moved on to FISAT where we met, and then at that point of time when he was doing his teaching at FISAT, that's the time when he got his PhD from MG Mahatma Gandhi University. That time he was in the midst of completing his ACCA. That's a time when probably like say a lot of people were thinking about an SCA career, and he had already finished it, and then he moved to overseas. He moved to Oman, then he moved to Saudi Arabia, and then he is in Scotland now working in this domain of accountancy. Dr. Thejo knows about this particular career in and out. He does not need to, he is not a salesman, because he doesn't need to hide anything. He doesn't need to, he can only be truthful about the career called accountancy. And we thought we need to get somebody like Dr. Thejo to talk to the students so that they know the reality about accountancy, about career in accountancy, and what is the future which holds for them. So I want to welcome Dr. Thejo. And I want to say that on behalf of Grace International Academy, I want to say welcome you to this particular session, and I want to leave the stage for you. This is going to be a session where he will talk for some time, and then you will have all the opportunity to ask him any questions which you want to ask regarding this career, and you clear all your doubts. And that's the whole idea behind it. You clear whatever you want to ask. Okay, and that's the reason why we have named this session. All you want to know about accounting career, but didn't know whom to ask. You might be, because essentially we are not talking about a salesman. Okay, we are talking about a hardcore accounting person who started off from Kerala, and he actually ended up in a place where a lot of people dream to be, and that is basically like say a place like the university what he's working for. So this is the whole purpose of this particular seminar. We want you to get something out of this particular seminar, because you've come on a Saturday afternoon. You could have done so many other things, but you have come to basically spend say 1.5 hours, 2 hours for the session. I hope you get the best out of it. Thank you very much for coming, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Manti sir, for the nice words. Is there anything left before I start?
Yeah, you can start. You can start, David.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Actually, it's morning here. It's just past 10 o'clock in the morning. So before I start with my brief presentation, I'm not planning to talk or present for long time. So maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes. That's it. After that, I'm planning to interact with you, try to answer your questions. I'm not saying that I will be in a position to answer all your questions. I'm not that an expert, but I know about accounting and accounting career, academics, especially if you're planning for a career in India or maybe abroad. So I can actually give some insights about that. I will not say that I'm an expert, of course, but I've seen a lot of students who are studying. I taught 9 years in Kerala before I moved to Middle East and I worked there in various universities for 3.5 years. Then I moved to UK on a scholarship to do my second PhD, because I wanted to teach in UK institution. So with an Indian PhD, nobody employs you here. So I got a scholarship to do a PhD here. So I am doing that. I am teaching in University of Aberdeen at the same time. And So what I'm going to talk today is how actually a student can, a student who is studying accounting or finance actually can make a career in this particular field, whether it's in India or in abroad. Because these days, as Mathusa mentioned, because of globalization, you can actually cross the borders very easily. You have various opportunities. You have very lot of agencies that help you to do so. A lot of recruitment agencies, a lot of immigration consultants, a lot of professional accounting bodies who have their branches even in Kerala. A lot of institutions who market their courses. So you get a lot of information. So what I'm trying to do is I'm planning to tell you some things which you already know, plus some things that you don't know. That means the organizations that you interact with, maybe it's some educational institutions, maybe it's some marketing agencies, maybe it's immigration consultants, maybe some overseas bodies. They might not be telling the truth about the prospects of this particular career or the prospects of a particular course or a program that you're going to take. So I'm planning to bridge that particular gap, and I maybe you can ask doubts about that after my short presentation. You will have some doubts, I'm sure, because I will be saying certain things. Maybe some things are like controversial, as Mathis already mentioned. We have seen firsthand how certain organizations are conducting business out of education sector, how they are making money out of education. Not only in Kerala, like across the world, people are making money out of education because this is like a major service. So they try, even though it's mentioned education, healthcare is mentioned as a non-profit sector, people are making huge amount of money. Like for example, think about a country like UK or maybe Canada or Australia or US. So I know about how much money you can make in the form of fees from international students. It is actually crossing billion pounds actually in a year. So the contribution by the international students to the economy in a year is crossing a billion pounds. So just convert it to Indian rupees, you will lose count of the numbers. So that means it is like a profitable business, whether it's for an institution, whether for a country. So you have to know the truth before you decide to do anything, because there are a lot of people to mislead you about what is happening in this particular field. So initially, I will be starting with some things you already know, and after that, I will be moving to some facts I want to share with you. So maybe we can have a discussion on that after this particular session. So let me open my PPT slide. So this is simply a guidance session on careers in accounting and finance. So please let me know if you have any problem saying the slide or hearing me, so I can stop and correct it before I proceed. So actually, I would like to ask some questions. Maybe you can put your answers in the chat box if possible. So one important question I want to hear from you, a very common question you might have already been asked by your professors or maybe your parents or maybe some career professionals many times. So what do you actually plan to become after you complete your studies? If you are doing so, like currently, if you are a student or maybe you have already finished your course, maybe you're working, so what is your aim? What is your ambition? So this is a very common question I have faced during the initial stages of my career. So if you can put your answers in the chat box, I can read from there. No need to switch on the mic. You can see the chat box on the right to your screen. So just put what you want to become. Like you have either selected accounting or finance as a career option, or maybe you are interested in doing so. So what exactly you want to become? Any answers? Okay. I saw CMA, ACCA, get a decent job. That's a very common answer. I see CA, data analyst, CA, marketing manager. So again, when you say a chartered accountant, like for example, CA or ACCA, actually that is a qualification, to be precise. Okay, so that's a very common mistake people do. Actually, what you want to become a chartered accountant is not a clear-cut answer, to be frank, because once you become a chartered accountant, you can specialize in many areas. You can work in many areas. So, for example, you can work in financial management. You can work in financial accounting as a management accountant, as a tax consultant, as a company secretary, or maybe you can go for your own practice. And again, I have to clearly say accounting and finance, it's completely different because that's a completely different field, different qualification, different specialization. Normally, when I was teaching in Kerala, you don't have like a master's program in accounting. You have BCom, MCom, or maybe an MPA in accounting and finance. So you don't have a specialized qualification. So for example, Master of Finance or Master of Accounting, MSc in accounting, like the foreign universities, we don't have a qualification like that. So I've got a lot of answers. So from what I understand, maybe I can just count in my one hand your career options. Do you have like anyone else? Okay, CFA, all qualifications are like related. CA, CFA, ACCA. So that means you want to become a professional accountant, most of you, but you don't have an idea regarding like what you want to become as a chartered accountant. So, for example, do you have a dream company? Do you have a dream position, like a dream designation? This is one important thing I want to talk to you because, there are many positions that you can get after you become a chartered. You can specialize in. Um, when I ask some students here in my university, when I teach, if I'm asking, normally I don't ask it in the classroom, but during the casual conversation, if you're talking to some students, they have clear idea what they want to do. They will be very, very specific. They are very specific regarding what they want to become. Not like chartered accountant. So, for example, they will clearly say, "I want to like analyst in a certain area." Or maybe I want to become a management accountant, or I want to do financial statement analysis, or I want to become financial accounting advisory, audit advisory, IT analyst. Accounting and IT is now very closely connected. The big four companies, they employ a lot of people, um, related to IT. So now I'm coming back to my slide. So these are some of the graduate positions. I'm not saying that all of these positions are available in India. Some of the positions are already available in India. I'm talking about graduate positions. That means once you finish your studies, what are the positions that you can get? A simple one, as a financial accountant. So normally it's not easy to get an accounting position immediately after your studies because the most common problem with the Indian education system is that even for a graduate position, they ask for experience, right? You might have seen that, like you might be thinking like this, okay, I'm a fresher. How am I going to show my experience? Because I'm just a newcomer to this particular field. So that is actually one problem with the education system because, in foreign culture, what they do is, if you're, for example, in UK education system, if you're doing a bachelor's degree in accounting, you will be spending almost a year on placement, working with some accounting firms, some chartered accounting firms, big four companies like EY, KPMG, PwC, or Deloitte, or there are a lot of other like second tier audit firms. So they work there, accounting audit firms. And once they qualify, once they graduate, they already have a year of experience, or they have the freedom to take a break in between their studies, which is like 4 year studies, and they will be actually little bit experienced accountants when they apply for jobs after their graduation. So in India, that is actually a problem to immediately get a financial accounting position. And one important thing, normally when I mention the big four, EY, KPMG, PwC, or Deloitte, don't think that, okay, we already have these companies in Kerala. So let me disappoint you initially. The beginning itself, actually, all these companies working in Kerala, 90% of the jobs they offer to the market are actually back-end jobs, which is coming from developed countries like US, UK, or Canada. These are actually outsourced jobs given to, like, because for getting cheap labor and Basically, it's the back-end jobs. Sorry to disappoint you, but that is a fact. I'm not saying that the full jobs, but 90% of the jobs these companies offer to our graduates, the intelligent students who are passing out of our organization, the jobs are back-end jobs. So that means, I've seen like a lot of people advertising on their social media profile or LinkedIn profile saying that, okay, I'm a Big Four employee, but in fact, they are not. Okay, they are gaining some experience, but in fact, they are not actually. You will see, like, if you check the organization profile, you'll see shared services or something like that. So, meaning they're just doing the outsourcing job. The real job, it's there actually in Mumbai, in Hyderabad. There are some students who are actually really working in the real Big Four, but most of the jobs, more than I will say clearly 90%, more than 90% of the jobs that you get in Kerala are back-end jobs, which is like a repetitive kind of work. You will not be learning anything. Your career growth opportunities will be minimum. Then the management or cost accounting jobs. So that is also, you have a professional accounting body. We have almost all countries have a professional accounting body related to management accounting, specializing in cost accounting. So you have the cost and work accountants of India. Then you might have heard about CIMA UK, then CMA US. You might have heard about all these qualifications. Some already are planning to take these qualifications. Then the tax accountants. So tax accounting is like a very rewarding career, not only in India, but there are tax consultants. You don't need a qualification for that. You can directly do the tax consultant courses, training programs, do some software training and all. You can start your own business to become a tax accountant or maybe a tax consultant. Then auditing, the highest number of vacancies across the world related to accounting is in the auditing sector. Okay, so if you want to increase the chance of getting a job, and not only in India but across the world, you can think about becoming an auditor. So it's not like extremely rewarding career like the other options, but the most number of vacancies in Big Fours or any accounting auditing firms, that is actually in auditing field, whether it's an internal auditor or an external auditor, because it's a legal requirement. It's a legal requirement, so the number of auditors will be much higher than the accountants. Then accounting auditing advisory services. Normally, in India, you don't have this kind of jobs. Very rarely you will be having accounting auditing advisory services. So if you study in a foreign country, I mean a developed country like US or Canada or UK or Australia or maybe even New Zealand, or maybe in some of the European countries, you will see that for graduates, they will be advertising a position called advisory services, which is very less in numbers. For example, if they recruit maybe 50 auditors, they might be recruiting just one accounting auditing service guy. So it can be related to, sometimes it's accounting and IT, accounting systems related services. So what they normally do is they train the students over a period of 3 years. They are advised to take a professional accounting qualifications while they're employed. Then the company secretary qualification. Then one important area that is gaining prominence in these days, that is forensic accounting. So, this field is not much like advertised or much common in India these days. Forensic account is it's something related to auditing. It's about identifying the frauds, conducting investigations for the government organizations or for the accounting and auditing firms. This is kind of an interesting job. But the thing is, there are certain skills that you need to acquire before you can actually get any of these jobs. Then, of course, I mentioned the positions that is available in accounting and finance is completely different. What you learn, what you specialize is completely different. These are some of the positions that you can get after you've finished the finance program. So somebody mentioned CFA, that is purely a financial management course, so financial analysis. So there are a lot of finance graduate schemes available across the world for finance graduates. So that is one option. So as a financial trainee, financial manager, you can get various positions. Then there is public finance options like some government organization. Maybe you can in India, you have a lot of government sector jobs in finance. But actually, it's not reserved to people who study accounting or finance. Many engineering graduates, many science graduates actually get this kind of position because it's advertised through the PSC or the central bodies. So that means the public finance, mostly it's government sector jobs. It's not easy for a normal person to get it because it's really competitive, especially in India. The one thing we have is like loads and loads of people who are qualified, so it's extremely competitive after all the reservations and all the stuffs. um, it's really tough to get. I'm not blaming reservation and all, but of course, I'm a victim of the reservation stuff and all, because I got like the PSC posting in a government college. Actually, I was in the top, if I remember correctly, in the top 30 ranks or something. But I got the placement after the 250th candidate in the rank list got placed, because I was a general candidate. So I decided, oh my God, this is like terrible. So what I have done wrong to deserve this? People who are ranked 250 or maybe nearing 280, they're getting their jobs. I waited for 3 years for getting, while I was in FISAT, I was working with Mathy sir, I was waiting for this position. Then I decided, no, I'm not going to take this. And finally, when I got this, I got the placement, maybe you will laugh. It was in Attapadi Government College. By that time, I had my PhD, I had ACCA, and so I was teaching students for professional accounting programs. I was visiting faculty in various institutions, and the placement they gave me is like Attapadi Government College. When I contacted the office, serious, all the people who were above and below my name in the rank list got placed in places very close to their hometown. And I had a person who was, I'm from Ernakulam. I saw a person above the rank list, just above my name, got placed in Maharaja's College. He is from actually Kannur, and I'm from Ernakulam, and I'm placed in Attapadi. So I decided, no, I'm not going to take that. Not because I'm interested in social work, but I don't want to like spoil my career after taking all these qualifications. And I have already witnessed the politics and the stuff in all these placements. They told me, if you have any political godfathers or anyone to recommend you, maybe you can try for a better position, maybe better location. I had some classmates who are actually, now politicians in Kerala, like IP and who studied with me for 5 years. Another MLA, Roji John, who was actually my classmate. I didn't call any one of them. I just decided, no, I'm not going for this job. Maybe something better is waiting for me. And it actually proved true. So I'm saying, like, getting a job is not at all easy. Maybe it's extremely difficult, especially in accounting and finance. What India have is like population, lots and lots of people who are highly educated, highly qualified. So, and again, after all the reservations, after all the politics, the religious reservation, again, the one thing I hate the more, reservation on the basis of religion. So after all this stuff, finally what you get? Nothing actually. So you may feel that you are not valued. Maybe your intelligence is not respected. So that is when I decided, maybe I will try to move my scene. So this can actually happen to you also. Maybe may not be in the initial stages of your career. Maybe after a certain stage, you will realize maybe you need to make a change. So I will be talking about that also towards the end of the session. Then one rewarding career in financial management, that is financial analyst. As you said, CFA qualifications help you to prepare for that. Investing, financing decisions, it's a complicated one. You should have some basic skills and basic knowledge about mathematical and statistical subjects. Not the basic, I will say, little bit advanced. Because what happens in Kerala or maybe in other states is that people who are specializing in accounting or finance, they are not really good in mathematics. So when someone asks you, okay, why you decided to do a course in commerce, or maybe a bachelor's in business administration, or maybe something related to accounting, many people say is that I was not interested in science, I was not interested in mathematics. I'm actually weak in mathematics, so I decided I will go for this. Actually, that is a wrong answer. If you want to be really successful in accounting and finance, you should be exceptionally good. Believe me, I'm not going to polish it. You should be exceptionally good in mathematics. You cannot escape from any of the mathematical studies, or maybe sometimes you need to use a little bit of science also. Like, for example, I was not like a tech savvy person when I moved to Middle East for my job, or maybe towards the end of my career in FISAT. If Matthew sir remembers correctly, I was actually managing the website. I'm not a tech savvy person. The only thing I know is like using my mobile phone properly. That's all. So I was actually forced to do the web management, the website designing, and all this stuff I was forced to do because no one else was taking that. Uh, Once I moved to Middle East, once I moved to UK, I have seen that your technical skills should be at par with any other graduates, and you're learning a lot of softwares. People ask you, what are your software skills? What, for example, Excel is like a basic thing. It's not like the utmost qualification for or utmost skill required for an accountant or a financing guy. So that is like a basic thing. So you need to have experience using softwares, whether it's data analysis tools, whether it's some accounting software. So it's very much essential for getting a job these days. Then another point I want to talk about is actuary, which is having very limited job opportunities in India, but in foreign countries, this is like a very rewarding career. Normally, in insurance companies employs graduates in actuarial positions. So it's about evaluating the risk, financial risk related to various projects, various insurance contracts like that. Then, of course, banking. Banking is most closely connected with finance than accounting. So that's why I included banking and finance. The bankers, the leading bankers across the world working in top banks, they are normally like people who specialized in mathematics, or maybe they are engineers. If you see the top banking professionals, I'm not saying about the public sector banks in India. If you see the top banks in the world, you'll see that the people who are heading those banks, or people who are specialized in banking, they are either economists, or they might be having like engineering background or maybe finance background from top institutions. So in India, what is happening is all the people who are unemployed after an engineering graduation, say they write the banking exam, they are normally good in mathematics, so they get the banking jobs easily. So banking is actually a resort of it's a decently paid job in India. So many people actually move to banking sector, not because of any passion, but because they don't have any other option. Then of course another one, an entrepreneurial opportunity. You can work as a stockbroker. You can start your own organization. If you think you're really good in like advising people regarding which stocks would be performing better. Now, these days, because of the globalization, you can easily access information regarding the stocks in foreign countries. You don't have to limit your investment to local markets. We can invest anywhere. We can buy the shares of any companies across the world. So you can become a local national stockbroker, or maybe an international stockbroker affiliated to any stock exchanges. So a lot of options. So I can say in stockbroking, even though it's predominantly related to finance, it can be connected to accounting also, because if you need to advise as a stock advisor, you should be able to analyze the financial statements of a company, the financial results of a company. Only then you will be able to advise people in a better way. Now I'm moving to the next slide. So some of the higher education courses in accounting and finance. These are university courses, okay? So don't get confused. These are not the professional courses. I'll be talking about the professional courses after this. These are some of the courses that is available across the world. I know that you will not see these courses in India, most of these courses, but there are some universities, there might be some universities giving specialist coaching, especially master's program in this subjects, accounting and finance, or accounting or finance. Maybe you will see BSc in accounting or BSc in finance. If you check the foreign university websites, then the banking and risk, that is one area. Then economics or financial economics, that is That's a very rewarding career, a very difficult subject to study. Actually, if you need an admission in a foreign university, there are a lot of pre-requirements for studying a financial economics course. Before like move to the remaining slides, let me tell you, I will be using, sometimes students get confused with the usage course and program. So normally internationally, when we say course, that is actually a subject. And in the Indian context, when I say course, that is like a subject. And program is actually the MA, MSc, MCom, like that. So normally that is the approved usage. When a person coming from India, so you normally say, okay, MBA course or maybe a BBA course, but normally that is not the correct usage. So people say course means, like for example, financial accounting, management accounting, it's a course. Mathematics, that's a course. While MBA or MSc, MA, these are actually programs. So I'm saying about programs. There are a lot of programs available in financial economics in leading organizations. Then financial mathematics, that is actually a course. Actually a program. So that is available in many organizations. Then financial modeling, again related to mathematics. Then, these are courses I have taken from leading universities. They provide master's program in this particular subject. See this one, finance, technology, and policy. So it's a combination. It's a combination of finance, technology, and policy. Mainly, it's related to economics, policy making, and all the stuff. Then finance and investment. So these are some of the programs that is available across the world. I know that the availability of courses in India is extremely limited because of the stupid governing authorities who are managing the education. For a lot of years, the approval at the AICT, all the stupid organizations managing the UGC. What they normally do is they make sure that no foreign universities are allowed to enter the country. Even I don't want to say it loud actually. Even Pakistan have foreign university centers in their country. So they have training programs. They are able to move easily to foreign countries. Like they can get jobs immediately after studying from this organization. But India don't have that kind of organization because of the recognition procedure and all this stuff. Seriously, it's really terrible. The country which have a lot of talent, a lot of brilliant brains, we are not allowed to learn, and we don't allow our education institution to experiment. We don't give any freedom to the universities, or it's controlled by politicians. The main problem is it's controlled by politicians who are actually who are actually members of the governing body of the universities. It's politicians. When the parties change, when the ruling parties change, the people who get appointed to these bodies also change. Actually, PM Mathesar is a victim of all this politics. Before he started Grace International Academy, I have personally witnessed this trouble for setting an organization like this, for helping people from his hometown. His only objective was to actually do something to the society, help students from his hometown to actually get an international exposure to international education. But he really suffered a lot because of this politics and all in managing the universities and education bodies. So that is one serious issue. Maybe I'll be talking about that later because I don't want to create too much controversy. I will be creating a little bit controversy maybe towards the end when I talk about the recruitment agencies and education consultants, especially in Kerala, as Mathesar already mentioned. These are some of the professional programs in accounting and finance. Maybe you're already aware of this. And in India, ICAI, the Chartered Accounting Body, this is, there is no official ranking of Chartered Accounting across the world, but people who know all the courses say that Indian Chartered Accounting can be ranked as the second best in the world. Okay, people who have studied, who are like familiar with all the chartered accounting qualifications, say that Indian chartered accountant, quality-wise, the quality of the people who are passing the qualification, we can say that it's the second best. Some people are like confused about Actually, I see AEW is the most toughest examination, chartered accounting examination. In my personal opinion, people might have difference of opinion, but I have personally seen, I have studied for ICAW, but then I dropped it because I don't want like a second qualification. As an Indian, it is like a passion to take so many qualifications. I was also a victim of that during my initial days. Maybe in the first maybe 7 8 years, I wanted to add more and more qualifications, because when I started teaching in the year 2006 in Rajagiri, there was a colleague of mine who added one master's qualification every year. He added one master's qualification every year, distant education program from Pondicherry University, IGNO. So he like have masters in almost every subject related to business. I think he's having like around 7 or 8 masters now by this time, but he's working almost the same job he had almost 15 years. I think in 2016, 2006 and 2021, he's having the same job, but he have like too many qualifications. So that doesn't matter. Don't get passionate about the qualification you're getting. It's about the skills, what good you can do. Don't get worried about the qualification, or don't compare your qualification with others. So the question is whether you are good or not. Okay, that's the most important thing. So don't get passionate about the qualifications. That is one important thing. Then of course, the management accounting qualification is the old ICWA, that is now ICMAI, then the company secretary program. So if you want to ask any doubts about this, I'm happy to answer maybe at the end of the session, because I taught for chartered accounting course in St. Albert's College, Ernakulam for more than a year. I worked with their team training chartered accounting students. So I'm happy to answer, and I actually had a training center at my home for cost and work accountants. So I'm happy to answer any questions regarding that. And secondly, I will talk about the professional accounting programs, the UK professional accounting programs. So these are the qualifications that UK have like a history with accounting. Most of the accounting programs actually derived from UK. Even India also developed their qualifications. ICAI, Cost and Work Accountant qualification, was developed because of the British influence, and almost the structure of the program that British had like 50 years, 60 years back, we are still following, even though British people have left like 70 years back. We are still keeping the same structure, the group structure of the examinations, which I'm very critical about that thing. Only if you pass like 4 or 5 subjects in one go, then only you are qualified to be a chartered accountant. That's a stupid thing to say. None of the professional accounting bodies across the world do that. Actually, CMA, they have a group structure, but it's not like tough like the ICAI. They say that, okay, you have to pass 4 or 5 subjects in one go to be called an expert in a particular field. None of these qualifications, they actually ask you to do so. So ICAW, that's the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. That is the most, I will say, personally, my opinion, that's the toughest one, the toughest chartered accounting qualification. I think now you can actually study ICAW from India itself. The advantage of ICAW is that you can pass it paper by paper. So I'm not sure whether they have the exam centers, but you can study it from India. I know only what happened like 3 years back. 3 years back, I think there was only one center in Mumbai or somewhere. Maybe they have, because of the marketing. There are a lot of people who start their own education consulting agencies. They try to promote these qualifications, try to get commission from these international bodies. So because all these accounting bodies, one controversy I want to create. All these accounting bodies, whether it's UK, US, UK and US, these professional accounting bodies, the top management get commission for or get paid for every student enrollment they get. Okay, so for example, if there is an ACCA India in charge, for every student enrollments, their salary or their bonus or their increments, that will be based on the student enrollments and the student pass rate. Actually, it's more based on the student enrollments, because once you enroll, you will spend a minimum amount of money to study the course. You will pay some money for the for the examination fees, the study materials, which is going to some other organization. They will be getting funds, the professional accounting bodies, they will be getting funds from these publishers. No, it's purely a business. To be frank, you might not actually like this, but it's a pure business. I have seen people, I worked in the Middle East, and I worked with the Middle East office of I don't want to mention a particular qualification. I worked with the Middle East head office managing many of these qualifications, and it is just a business. So they want to enroll students. They don't bother about whether the students are okay. They may act like they are interested. They might act like okay, they want to help, they want to provide support. They may do online sessions. They may come to visit the students once in a while. I'm not saying that these qualifications are bad, but don't believe whatever they are saying to you, whatever they are promising to you. They will not be doing that. The only thing you need to realize is whether you have the stuff, whether you have the caliber to do this kind of qualifications. That's one important thing. I have seen, like Matthew has said, people uh, advertising, for example, ACCA in Kerala, like, no, that is actually the solution to every problem of students studying accounting and financing in Kerala. Once you pass plus two, or maybe now it's only 10th standard, just do ACCA and earn lakhs, or maybe CMA, US CMA. It's heavily marketed in Kerala, and they are being promised like lakhs and lakhs of salary. How many people, I want to see the people who are getting this lakhs and lakhs of salary after this qualification. They might be getting like a very minimum, like maybe handful, and they advertise their achievements in their banners, in education conferences, and they try to attract maximum number of people. So it can be like maybe I'll say less than 5% of the students who are passing these qualifications get the worth of money and the effort they are spending in these qualifications. One important reason is the UK US qualifications do not give a rewarding career in India. So listen to me, you are not going to get a good or a rewarding career by passing any of the UK, US or Canada or Australian qualifications. And by staying in India, you're not going to get a rewarding career. That's a true fact. Because we already have like an approved, a qualified body here. Indian Chartered Accounting is there. ICW is there, company secretary program is there. So of course, the agencies or the companies will be employing people who are qualified in our regional law, regional accounting policies rather than the UK accounting or US accounting bodies. So that means maybe I can talk about this maybe at the end of the session. You might be having certain questions. And whatever I'm saying now is actually, I'm creating controversy because I clearly know this is not what the people who are marketing their courses have told you. And another one which you might not see much advertisement regarding this, Canada and Australia, they have CPA. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they don't actually go abroad and market their courses. They don't want people to. So maybe I will say they are more ethical. I'll say they are more ethical in their approach. They don't want to increase the student enrollments. They don't want to make money, even though these are non-profit organizations. They don't want to make much money from student enrollments and student examination fees. Then, before I talk about the opportunities abroad, education opportunities, I will be talking about education opportunities and job opportunities abroad for people who are studying in India towards the end. So before that, I will talk about what are the pros and cons of a career in accounting and finance. Because many people actually think about that. Okay, if I am like committing to a career in accounting or finance, what is going to happen? Where I can see myself in, like when I'm nearing the retirement age, maybe 60 or 55. So what will happen to me? And what will be like my the status of my mind at that time, my family. So this kind of stuffs are important for people from India. So one important advantage of following a career in accounting and finance, it's a clear career path. Because once you commit yourself to accounting and finance, you study a professional accounting program, your career path is almost like confirmed. You don't have much option to diversify. even though there are limited number of opportunities, limited number of diversifying opportunities within the career. It's not like other careers. Once you specialize in accounting, for example, you become a chartered accountant, you join a particular company, and you spend like 5 years, 10 years. So the career path is very clear. The promotion, what you can achieve in 5 years, what you can achieve in 15 years, you can visualize that now itself. Maybe if you have a role model and if you want to actually follow that particular path, the career path is very clear. Then there is a growing demand for the profession, because any company that is functioning, they need the financial figures, so they need to employ accountants, they need to manage their finance. So of course there will be a demand for the profession. It's not going to end anytime soon. So you don't have to worry about getting outdated by studying accounting and finance. Of course, you need to update yourself on a daily basis, on an annual basis, through professional development programs. But this profession is not going to end anytime soon. Then another thing is that the potential for professional growth is very high, especially as a chartered accountant. Many said you want to become a chartered accountant, so the growth opportunities are like too much. You can, I'll just give an example. I don't know much about the UK chartered accounting, sorry, the Indian chartered accounting scene, but I will say the chartered accounting career growth or professional growth in UK. So normally people don't study professional accounting programs when they are in university. Okay, people don't study professional accounting programs when they are in university. When they are studying for a course, they don't do that. Once they finish the graduation, they get employed by any accounting or auditing firm as a trainee accountant or auditor. Trainee accountant or auditor. Then they will be studying these professional accounting programs with funding from this body. So for example, EY, KPMG, PwC, Deloitte, Grant Thornton, all this organization, if you check the top accounting bodies in the world, it's different in US and UK, Canada, Australia. So the bodies are different, but the top four will always be the same. So that's why I mentioned top four. So the big four, that is going to be the same. So their structure is almost, you don't have to pay a single rupee or maybe pound or dollar for your professional accounting studies if you are in a foreign country, because your company will be doing that, and they will be giving you like maybe 3 year or 4 year while working in the company. You will be getting time to study and appear for the examination. And once you qualify, you will be a chartered accountant and you will be a full member because you have like 3 or 4 year experience. And the starting salary for a trainee accountant, so for example in UK it's 25,000 pounds, so that's equal to like 2 lakhs per month, 2 lakh Indian rupees per month as a trainee accountant. You know what's the trainee salary they pay for a chartered accounting trainee in India? 10,000, 12,000 rupees, 15,000, sometimes not even that. I remember, one of my colleagues who got MCOM first rank, she went to do a chartered accounting program and worked in an agency, worked with a chartered accounting firm. They were paying 5,000 rupees at that time, in 2006. But here, that's actually, the difference between developed countries and people coming from India, because, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of qualified people, so the earning potential is like less. So here what is happening is the professional growth is like clear. So for example, I told you 24,000 means 24,000 per annum. That's equal to 24 lakhs per year. Once you complete the professional accounting program, at the end of 3 years, if you are able to get the chartered accounting degree and you are becoming a full member, your salary will be rising to around 50,000 pounds per year. So that's equal to 50 lakhs per year. So meaning 4 lakhs per month around. Then once you complete like 10 years in the same company, you are really good. One condition is there, you're really good in your profession, you're really valuable to the organization. In 10 years, you will be getting like more than 100,000 pounds. So that means 1 lakh pounds, which is equal to like around 8,000 or 9,000. That means around 8 lakhs, more than 8 lakhs per month. And around By around 15 years, 20 years, you will be becoming the partner of the organization. If you're really good, at that level, your minimum payment will be like 150,000 per year pounds. So that will be coming to around 18 lakhs to 20 lakhs. So what I'm trying to say is like 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs. So that will be your minimum payout per month. So that means the professional growth is clearly marked. In India also, it's not that bad. Once you're an established chartered accountant, you can earn any amount of money. Your growth is, if you're working in a company, it's clearly marked. You can reach a particular position. But if you're practicing, it depends on your skill. If you're having your own organization, and you're in your own practice, you're in self-employment, of course the earning potential is based on your skills and your knowledge. Then of course entrepreneurial opportunity, I already mentioned, you can start your own business, you can become a advisor, tax advisor, or maybe an investment advisor or an accounting advisor. You can start your own organization, maybe a trading agency, share trading agency, something like that. Then one important thing is that there is a newfound flexibility after COVID-19. I just want you to know this is actually a good time to study accounting and finance, because now organizations realize that in the last 1.5 years, they realize that accountants need not be at the office all the time. They can actually work from home. Earlier, it was not a possibility. They had like a fixed office hours. Now there is more flexibility, especially in foreign countries, more flexibility. They can work from home. They can have flexible working hours. The only thing is finishing the work on time. That's it. So I met recently a person who works from India but is employed in a foreign country. So it's possible. So maybe you can get employment in foreign countries by even sitting at India in your home. That is a possibility. Then another important thing is that meeting new people and traveling. Many people have a misconception that accounting and financing is extremely boring. You don't meet much people, you don't meet new people. Uh, you have to stay in the office, you're dealing with numbers. It's dull, it's boring. To an extent, it's true. But at the same time, for example, if you're an auditor, you need to travel to various locations to inspect the client accounts. You will be meeting different people all the time. So you will be like, for example, in UK, one of the requirements of becoming an auditor in a big four firm is the ability to travel. So travel means you don't have to spend any time, any money. You will be lodged, you will be given the food, you will be paid the traveling expense. You can stay in various locations. You can meet new people, going to new. Your career will not be boring at all. That's what I was saying. Okay, so these are some of the pros of accounting and finance career. Then the cons. This might not be a disadvantage for many of the students because they are interested in doing so. But I have to tell, these are some of the cons of career in accounting and finance. One is ongoing learning. You cannot stop learning. You have to update yourself on a daily basis because the accounting, the finance regulations change year by year. So whether it's Indian chartered accounting, Indian accounting body, or UK accounting body, US accounting body, they change the policies. You have to constantly update yourself, whether it's a software, whether it's a regulation, your learning never stops. So if you have the ability to update yourself, you are interested in learning on a constant basis, this can be a rewarding career for you. Then another thing is the fierce competition. Of course, it's there in all fields, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, or whether it's HR, whichever field, of course, there is a competition. That the same thing is there in accounting and finance. But the important thing is that your mind and your body should be in a perfect condition to face this competition because you're dealing with numbers. If your mind is not working well, your ability will be seriously affected. Maybe once you reach like over 40 or 50, you will be thrown out of the field. That is one important thing because we cannot predict we are going to be like this sharp with all the numbers and all the stuff. Maybe you will be thrown out of the job after 40. You will be jobless. That is a possibility if you are not really good. You don't have like the mental strength or the knowledge backing to face all this fierce competition. Then, of course, it's a tedious job dealing with numbers. There are people who don't like to deal with numbers all the time because sometimes it can be repetitive. Like I said, next point, dull, repetitive. For example, an auditor, even though the number of auditing jobs are very high, the jobs can be repetitive. You have to deal with the same kind of job on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes the stress, especially during the busy seasons, you know what the banking people do towards the end of the accounting year, accounting people do when they near the financial year end. The stress is too much. Their family life will be affected. Their personal relations will be strained. So this kind of things, it's possible, but I've seen a lot of people who manage that efficiently. The work-life balance, the stress, they manage that efficiently. Actually, I had a friend who studied with me in the University of Aberdeen during the PhD. He's now actually the CFO of a multinational company. You know, he manages the work life really well. He has like kids and wife. He's a German guy. They clearly know how to balance the work and all the stuff, not like Indians, you know. I want to clearly say that because I met an Indian CEO recently, an IT based CEO. He's actually a Malayali. He's from Kerala. So his family members were saying that he's working constantly all the time, 24 hours he's working. Even at night, he's actually getting up and doing some work. So I feel Indians are really poor with this work-life balance stuff when compared to the Westerners. Um, I've observed like this. Maybe it's true, it's not true. Maybe we can argue about that. But what I have seen, what I've observed is we are actually really poor in that aspect. Maybe because of our upbringing, we don't know like when to stop work, when to enjoy. Our attitude is okay, enjoy full time or maybe study full time. So we don't actually balance this kind of stuff. We are really, I feel we are really bad at balancing the stuff, the work, maybe the study, the family life, the friendship, the social media usage. We don't know how to balance all this stuff. Religion, politics. So I'll be talking about that also when we talk about the career prospects. Then of course there is a bad reputation for accounting and finance. Normally people say that accountants are really boring. Yeah, because they talk about numbers, they talk about profitability. Um, Maybe they want some benefit in whatever they do. Once you become a experienced person, like when you're dealing with the numbers, when you're dealing with profitability all the time, so they want some benefit from everything, maybe from the relations also. That is a possibility. They say normally people say chartered accountants are really boring. Their families actually complain. The kids actually complain about their parents, especially when they are chartered accountants. They're really boring. They talk about numbers all the time. Even for spending money for their education, they want the clear return sometimes. Now, I want to talk about the challenges for new entrants. I'm talking about people who are finishing the studies in the next couple of years, or maybe finished recently. What are the challenges you are going to face? I'm not talking about the Indian scenario alone. I'm talking about like global scenario. What is going to be your challenge? One important thing is increase in the number of professionally qualified candidates. So, like you said, students who are sitting at Punalur or maybe any corner of Kerala or maybe any part of India, you're thinking about getting professionally qualified. So the increase in the number of professionally qualified candidates, it's going to make getting a job more and more difficult in the coming days. Just go to the ACCA website or CMA website, or maybe just check the number of people who are getting qualified every year. The number of opportunities are not matching these professionally qualified candidates. Many organizations, sometimes the organizations are not responsible for this. They just gave approval to certain organizations, certain education institutions to conduct training programs in various countries. But some education consultants, some education organizations decide to make money out of this, and they try to enroll maximum number of students, and they try to make maximum money out of this kind of business. So what happens is the number of professionally qualified candidates are increasing. I will tell you one secret I have witnessed in Middle East. If you are writing the first 3 papers of ACCA in the Middle East, the chance of getting a pass is much higher. than in any other countries. The reason is the questions that you get is much easier than, because the database is actually the same. I think they might have an algorithm for that. So the questions that they get in the Middle East is much easier than the questions that they get in any other country. The reason is they want more and more Arab people to enroll for this kind of courses. They want them to get qualified at least up to the initial fundamental level. They might not have the ability to reach the professional level, so they actually manipulate it a little bit. So people are not judged on the same basis. I know, again, this is a controversy. So people do that. I'm personally aware of it. Then the lack of work experience. So that is one important stuff, especially in Kerala. That is a headache for many students. Whenever you're applying for a job, people ask, okay, what is your experience? Or they will say that, okay, sorry, we had a candidate who matched the profile more much better than you because we had like work experience. So the question is how you're going to get the work experience. Actually, the educational institutions or the universities should come up with a plan for that, because the developed countries or the top institutions in the world are doing so. So I am aware that Grace International Academy is providing internship to students who are doing the graduation, which is like a great thing. None of the organizations they don't do like internship or company placements while they are doing the graduation. So this is a great thing. You're getting a chance to work in companies, in corporate organizations, and you're getting some experience. Like what you're going to experience once you can show it in your CV. You can say, explain what I have done during my placement, whether it's 2 months, whether it's 4 months, or maybe you can. Many people actually take a break. Here, I'm not saying that it's possible in India or in Kerala. So here, there is a break here. It's common in the US and UK. Maybe after the first 2 years, some students go for just enjoyment. They go abroad. They just relax. They stay away from all the family trouble, the academic trouble, and they just relax. Some people just move out and do some jobs, sometimes some casual jobs, or sometimes something related to their profession. So they recollect and they try to apply what they have studied in their workplace. So once they come back to the final year, they clearly know what is their career goal. So they have some time to think. But what happens to us is that people who are coming from like in Kerala or India, we are forced by our family to do certain things. The main problem with our structure is that we are being taught to become engineers, doctors, IT people, bankers, or maybe teaching. So maybe I can write down 10 professions that your parents ask you to select from, which is like we cannot blame them because that is their background. They are not like having exposure to the opportunities across the world. And even sometimes our education institutions or sometimes our teachers also fail us to communicate about this kind of opportunities. I don't blame them because that is the background they're coming from. So for example, I used to think, oh my God, how much opportunities this world is having. So for example, I will talk about that after this. So no, you can actually learn free if you are like qualified, if you are skilled, if you have enough knowledge, you can learn free. Means your bachelor's or master's from many countries, actually, developed countries, top ranked institutions, if you are really good. But nobody actually informed me about this kind of stuff. But once I reach here, once I search more and more, once I want to once I become an educator, once I interacted with, now I have like taught like more than 100 nationalities. I had students from Europe, US, Scotland, England. Then I have taught in Middle East. I have taught many African students. I have taught. I had a lot of students from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Southeast Asian nations. So these people, they don't know what are the opportunities available to us, especially Indian students. We don't have any idea about the future career options because whatever that is available to you is communicated by the education consultants or the marketing agencies, because what they want is money. So they will communicate those opportunities which are actually beneficial for them. Okay, so I'm slightly deviating from the topic. I will be talking about that. So lack of work experience is a big issue for students from our place. So we need to actually find a solution for that. Actually, this should come from the administration level of university. We have like so-called UGC, ASCT, or the technology university or whatever it is. So they should actually come up with certain plans to improve the employability skills of the students. You cannot do that. Maybe some organizations like Grace International Academy, they are able to use the vacation time, the off-study period to accommodate something like this, to promote, to create work experience. That's a very appreciable thing actually. Then the next thing, the technology and automation in accounting and finance. So this is going to be uh, a, a major breakthrough in accounting and actually it's already a breakthrough in accounting auditing field. For example, you use the big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology in auditing. You don't have to like real-time settlement of accounts. All this stuff is already happening in big four companies. Slowly it will come to India also. One important challenge faced by accounting students is that they are not well versed in this kind of technology. They are not sure about what is happening. Maybe the engineering graduates might be taking the accounting and auditing jobs in future. That is a possibility because the blockchain technology is being used for auditing the companies across the world. So you can sit at your home and you can see the real-time movement in the accounts by using that. This can be done without any knowledge of the accounting. Little bit of knowledge will be helpful, but more familiarity with the technological changes and all this stuff will be helping you to get a better job in future. That's one challenge. So this one I already mentioned, people from other background securing new job. I'll be talking about this also later. So the specialists, the top researchers, top academicians, the top people in accounting and financing positions in multinational companies, in universities across the world, they are not like professionally trained accountants. They are not chartered accountants. They are people from other backgrounds. I'll give some example for that later about top academicians. Actually, I didn't mention that particular opportunity. Once you study accounting and finance, you have an option to become a teacher also, an academician. That is also a possibility. So I will talk about that. Then another challenge is migration due to lack of opportunities. I can't actually recollect how many people are leaving Kerala or India on a daily basis. People are looking for opportunities abroad. So that is also a new challenge. The number of people who are migrating to other countries, developed countries, and now developed countries are making it more and more difficult to tackle the migration for giving employment visa. It's becoming difficult day by day. So that is one issue. Then, of course, a common issue: poor employability skills of Indian university students. The main reason is they don't have much work experience, and we are concentrating too much on the marks. We are concentrating too much on the examination structure. So some students have like a belief that if I score like 80 percentage or 90 percentage marks, I'm really good in my subject. That's a misconception actually. I have seen students who are getting like 50% or 60 percentage in their studies. They are like getting into the top level of all the companies or maybe even universities. So employability and your qualification do not match most of the time. So I have seen, in FISAT Business School where I taught with Matthew sir. So we have seen students getting university ranks or maybe who are getting like about 90 percentage for their MBA examinations. But they were not the people who actually came out successful in their careers. When we look our students, the past students who finished their course like 6 years or 10 years back, where they are now, we can clearly say that the employability skills and the marks, they do not match at all. So that is one important challenge. Don't get comfortable with the level of marks you are scoring or with the number of subjects you are learning. One simple example, in order to just pass an MBA program in Kerala, you have to study around 20 to 24 subjects, or in terms courses, 20 to 24 to get a master's. But if you learn a master's here in UK or in US, the maximum number of courses or subjects you are learning will be like less than 10, will be less than 10. So you might think, okay, less than 50% of what you're learning on an average course or average program in India. No, actually, it's not like that. There is more specialization. So what you learn, you clearly know. That is what the universities make sure. So you can be employed in a particular area. For example, you study financial analysis as a subject. At the end of that particular course or at the end of the program, you will have sufficient skills and knowledge about working in the company itself, because you will be studying the actual database, you will be dealing with the actual company database, you'll be dealing with the actual software that is being used in the company. Because universities like advertise their courses or their programs like that. So we have this kind of database, we have this kind of resources for students. So they use it to train the employees for the market. So it's about boosting the employability and the job skills, on-job performance. But Indian universities, we concentrate always on the marks. We say that, okay, the rank holders. I have not heard that particular word after moving out of India or maybe Middle East. In Middle East also they say like rank holder. Here it's nothing actually. Nobody actually mentioned about rank holder. They just mention, okay, if they got a good employment, they just mention it. Never they say, okay, some organization they say the gold medal winner. That's based on, the gold medal winner is not based on marks. That's based on so many other facts. Like sometimes, very simple example. My wife actually studied Master of Social Work from UK. So she studied 2 years. It's not written a single examination, not a single examination for passing the Master of Social Work. It's purely based on practice. Means your supervisor will be evaluating whether you're fit to practice as a social worker here in UK. But in India, so a very simple example, in India, you have to learn around 25 courses or 25 subjects to pass a course. But you don't have much experience. You don't have much employability skills. So this is a serious problem you're going to face when you look for jobs. Uh, I will. Can I take like a 5 minute break if possible? Um, is it okay? I have only like 20 minutes of presentation, maybe maximum. So just 4 more slides. I'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll request not to leave the session now because the most informative things I want to say is coming after this. So till now I have been talking about certain general things only. So I hope maybe I think I will continue because I don't want to waste your time. I just want to take a small break because I've been talking continuously.
Yeah, just continue with that. No problem.
Okay, sure. So coming back to the slide. Okay, now some essential skills you need to have when you plan a career in accounting or finance. One is actually I already mentioned you should have a quest to learn. If you have an idea like I'm going to finish all my studies by this year, and maybe by next year I'm finishing all my studies. I'm not planning to like continue learning new things. Then this is not a career for you. You have to constantly update your skills, constantly update your knowledge, because this is not going to stop. If you are able to enjoy this learning, then of course you're going to enjoy this career. If you think that learning is not at all fun, then I will say this career is not at all for you. Then the technical, the digital literacy, the skills, that's extremely important. You should know how to use the softwares. You should have an ability, I see the job advertisements here in UK. So they clearly say you should have like certain technical skills. Even if you don't know the software, you should have the basic skills to learn a new software or the attitude to learn the new software. Okay, so it's all about softwares these days. The technology is too much. I already told you the big data or the artificial intelligence used in accounting and auditing. Maybe this technology will be replacing some of the positions that is available to us now in future. Then fair to learn law and regulations. That's actually a different kind of skill because the rules and regulations. Some people don't like to read too much into the laws and regulations because it's boring. Seriously, it's boring. Yeah, because the explanations, the kind of the framing of the sentences, the complications, people don't like it too much. And I'm not saying everyone, but some people don't like reading laws and regulations. But as an accountant or as an auditor, you need to be comfortable reading and understanding this rules and regulations because you need to like practice it. Maybe if you're running your own business or maybe you're employed with other organizations, you should be able to grasp and you should be able to practice these regulations in your work life. Then the quantitative or analytical or judgment skills, that is extremely important. You can never say that, okay, I'm not good in mathematics, but I want to become an accountant. I'm not good in, like, for example, I will say my example. I was not at all comfortable using trigonometry or calculus during my school days. And I didn't actually, as an accounting student, I never had to come across trigonometry or calculus in my studies. Even in my professional accounting studies in ACC also, it was not there. But when I applied for the PhD here in UK, the first module I had to learn as part of the research, that is, I was shocked actually. Integral calculus, differential calculus, trigonometry. Not at the basic level that you have seen back home. It's the advanced level calculus, advanced level trigonometry. I was shocked actually. I was thinking, oh my God, how I am going to cope with this? Because they teach like you already know the basics. No, I didn't know the basics. Whatever I have learned long back, like 15 or 20 years back, I have completely forgotten. So I had no idea. But what I did is I took it as a challenge. I learned it myself. I attended a lot of online videos. I attended some sessions within the universities. I worked with some friends. And finally, I was really happy I got a grade actually for this quantitative aspects like the research methods and all this stuff. Even I was also surprised how I got this. Once you decide, once you make the mind to achieve something, it's possible. Even if it's your weak thing, you might think that you are actually weak in that. You might think you are weak in mathematics, but might not be. Maybe you are just have an aversion towards the person who taught this particular subject. I'm very much interested in science subjects, but I never scored really good in science subjects because I never liked the people who taught me the science subjects in school. Now I clearly understand what exactly is the reason for that, because my chemistry teacher, he what he normally do is he come to the class and he asked us to write down certain notes. He don't teach anything. He just talk for maybe a couple of minutes and just ask us to take down the notes, which is coming for the examination. And we are supposed to learn it by heart. That is how I learned the chemistry. These days, it has changed much. People have like much better idea, because of the technology, because of the internet. Actually know the applications. People experiment even in schools, in labs and all. We had labs, but we never actually did something that generate the interest. So that is actually one issue with the learning these days. Then global mindset should be there. You cannot think about getting employed in one particular location. So, for example, some people are not comfortable going out of their hometown. I was a person like that. My idea was, when I graduated, my idea was to stay in Cochin, if possible, till the end of my work life. Maybe after that, I can move to some village area and spend my life peacefully. But you cannot make your career like that. If you want to be a successful person, you should have a global mindset. You should be open to migration. You should be able to work hard. You should be able to mingle with a lot of people. You should read too much. Then the professional ethics, that is another important thing. As an accountant, as an auditor, as a finance person, even for professional accounting programs, they teach you ethics. They teach you clearly the ethics behind a successful accountant or maybe an auditor. That's a very important thing, actually. I don't want to talk about the professional ethics in this particular profession. It's actually part of your studies. I think when you learn auditing in India, in universities, you might be coming across some modules related to this. Then, of course, the communication and teamwork skills. The communication skills, of course, I have to talk about the language. I'll say you don't have to be like exceptionally good, but people should be able to understand and communicate with you properly. When you are like planning to migrate, you have to make sure that you get like a minimum IELTS or TOEFL score. So that means your basic reading, listening, or writing skills are actually at par. I have seen that the Indian students' writing skill is reasonable. The problem is with actually listening. The most common issue is with listening. So the words they use and understanding what different nationalities or different accents, that is slightly complicated for Indian students, especially in the universities. I have seen some students have problem with some accents of some European faculty or maybe some other faculty. So when there is a regional accent, when they hear some words, they don't understand that. So try to improve your communication skills and of course your teamwork skills, because here, if you want to get employed, you should be a team player. You should be a team player. You should be gelling well with other people. Whatever organization you work, if you are not able to work in teams, if you cannot work with other people, then that's a serious problem. Your career progression will be seriously affected. Especially as an accountant, you need to collect various information. You need the support of various people. You need to work in teams as an auditor. So if you have poor teamwork skills, if you don't like group of people, or if you don't like to mingle with people, then this career might not be for you. Now, um, now I'm talking about some opportunities. Of course, some people might be, not everyone might be interested, but some people might be interested in opportunities, about opportunities in accounting and finance in foreign countries. So normally you have three options. Okay. So the first option is migrating via permanent residency, which is available in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Germany. But as an accounting and a finance person, you are normally not eligible for permanent this accounting profession. I can say that, okay, to Canada you can migrate. These days it's okay. It's easy to get a Canadian PR. But the problem is with an Indian qualification, once you migrate to Canada, it might not be It might not be, I will not say it might not be, it's not at all easy to get a job, accounting job with an Indian qualification once you reach there. Because I have personally witnessed, some of my students, some of my friends who migrated to Canada, some were actually teachers. I had a colleague, actually an engineering colleague, who worked with me in the Middle East. He migrated to Canada. He is actually like, he have a PhD in engineering actually. He had a PhD in engineering. He taught in a prestigious institution in Chenganur, I guess, Chenganur, Pathanamthitta area. He migrated to Middle East, then he migrated to Canada. He's working in some shop actually, I think. It's a little bit disappointing for him. Even though he is comfortable, he can live decently because the government is supporting him with unemployment support and all the stuff. But it's not easy. To Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Germany, these days nurses can migrate very easily. Medical professionals, some engineering field, they can actually easily migrate. Uh, but it's not easy for an accounting and finance guy. Okay, one important point I have to tell is you might have seen some advertisement by certain recruitment or maybe manpower agency saying that if you're working in accounting or finance, there is huge demand for accountants in these countries. That is a blatant lie. It's not true. You're going to suffer if you actually migrate with the help of these agencies. Some agencies have like underground facilities or some indirect approach to give permanent residency to people from different countries. They actually do that some through some illegal route also. But the thing is, you will not have like a fruitful career in accounting or finance. So that is first option, PR. Then the migration through education. I will recommend if you are interested in uh, a successful career, if you are really interested in career rather than your life, it's better. Some people actually migrate for their family. That's why I clearly say like that, because the advantage of moving to countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, the advantage is that their kids are actually safe because the education is free once they are becoming resident. The healthcare is free. Most of the countries, the healthcare is free. That means you don't have to save for your kids' education, or you don't have to save for your healthcare. Which are the two things that drain all the funds of the parents in our country. You have to save too much for your health because you don't know what is going to happen to you. The private hospitals will actually drain your fund. Then the education, even for getting an admission to a kindergarten, you have to pay how much is people who are like familiar with this kind of stuff clearly knows how much fund you need to save for this kind of things. But these countries, you don't have to like except US, of course. US, it's costly. You're not getting any support for this kind of stuff. But these countries, other countries, clearly help. So that's why some people actually migrate for their families. Some people migrate for their career. If you are migrating for your career, I will say migration through education is an option. I will talk about that, some of the courses. You might think, okay, it's a very costly option. Not really. In some countries, you can actually learn free. For me, I'm doing my PhD free. I'm not paying a single pound. I'm completely doing my PhD free. Okay, I started from Kerala. I worked in Kerala for many years. I'm a completely new person to this kind of setting, but I'm not paying a single pound. I'm doing it free. So I will talk about that also. These are certain things that the recruitment agencies or the manpower consultants will not tell you because they don't get any commission, they don't get any benefit out of this kind of advices. Then the migration with employment, it's not possible to foreign countries except for nurses and doctors. Yes, nurses can easily get employment visas in developed countries, but not for other professions, especially in accounting and profession. No, it's not possible. But you can get positions in Middle East, Asian countries like maybe Malaysia, Singapore, these kind of countries you can get. Then African countries, of course, there are many opportunities available for Indian accountants, chartered accountants. Not highly rewarding, but decently paid career options are available. Now, these are some things I want to tell you which you don't know, or maybe you might have heard about it, but you were not like interested too much in inquiring about that. One important point, there are some European countries that offers free or almost free. Almost free means like nominal charges, master studies to international students. I mean Indian students. When I say international, I mean Indian students. One is actually Germany. So you may think, okay, why I didn't know about this? The reason is, nobody told you because the recruitment agents will get commission only on the amount of fees paid by you to the universities. They're getting paid as a commission, as a percentage. So they don't actually communicate about these free programs to the students. If you ask them, they will say, oh, we don't have any idea. Actually, you don't need any idea. You can just directly go to the website of these universities, and because not all universities do that, but there are some good universities which are in the top 100 or top 200 ranks. They clearly give master's degree in certain fields, not all the fields, but in some fields they give free masters. For example, in Norway, in Germany, there are free courses. In Czech Republic, there are free courses. In Iceland, there are free courses. The advantage of this kind of country is Iceland. It's one of the top peaceful countries in the world. The best, one of the top five country to raise your family. No, they're giving free education. And in Norway, Belgium, France, or Australia, you have to pay like some admin charges, which will be coming like less than 50,000 per semester, something 50,000 Indian rupees. Okay, 50,000 Indian rupees per semester as admin charges. So that is the nominal amount they charge for certain master's degree. But the thing is, you have to search it yourself. Nobody is going to help you. There is no agency that's going to help you with this kind of things. Maybe in future you can start searching, do the internet search for these kind of things. How to advance my career. Don't spend too much time on social media. Don't spend too much time on the hateful news regarding the religion, the politics. I can say like people spending too much time on this kind of unproductive work. This kind of research. Now I am actually advising many students about this. It's really astonishing how much opportunities people have. Then another thing, then these are not like top ranked. Top rank means I mean like top 50 or top 20 ranked institutions. But if you want to learn from top ranked institutions, so for example, Harvard or Stanford or Cambridge or Oxford or London Business School, you can learn your master's or maybe PhD. You can learn free with stipend, significant amount of stipend, meaning covering your living expense. You can get admission if you have a GMAT or GRE score above 90 percentile. You can clearly go to the website of these universities. For example, if you go to Harvard or Stanford, they will clearly publish the GMAT or GRE cutoff for their programs. So if you um, go to the scholarship sections of these universities, they will see like what amounts of scholarships are available for the top applicants. Sometimes it covers like 50 percentage of the fees. Sometimes it covers 75% if you're coming from a difficult background. Sometimes they give special scholarship for Indian students. So meaning your master's study itself, you can do like maybe with a 50 percentage scholarship. Again, none of the recruitment agents or mentor consultants help for admission to the top B schools. Okay, that is completely up to you. You have to do it on your own. From the scratch, you have to do it on your own. Nobody help you with that. There are some consultants who actually take payment for getting admission, but not for getting the scholarship. And these things you have to do it on your own. Then I talked about the PhD. If you want to think about like a academic career, don't think that who are doing a PhD will be stuck with the university or teaching career. Not really. There are many people who actually work in industry as an industry expert, like an advisor, this kind of jobs after their PhD. Just one simple example, top academicians are actually employed as the Reserve Bank governors in the past, were employed like Raghuram Rajan or V.V. Acharya. These people are actually coming from US for after their PhDs. They're university professors. They work in various organizations. They act as advisors of various banks and companies. So don't think that doing a PhD means you have to pursue an academic career. Need not be. And the top 100 universities, they give free PhD with reasonable stipend. So for example, if you do PhD from London Business School, if you have above 90 percentile GMAT, GRE, you will get a free admission to PhD. It's not easy, above 90, it's not easy. But if you're really good in mathematics, if you have a good verbal skills, good reasonable, good quantitative as well as the reasoning skills, then you can get 90% and above, especially when you're young. I actually tried GMAT in the year 2017 because I wanted to see like how, because it's all about the speed and your sharpness. Once you get like cross 30, your speed will be coming down drastically. I got only about 80%. So that was not enough for a position in London Business School or Oxford or Cambridge. Once you get that, you will get like a £20,000 per year stipend living expense. So that means around 20 lakhs for living, that alone. And you can concentrate fully on your studies from this top universities in US also. You get like significant amount of stipend for living from top universities. So that is one opportunity. Then there are many scholarship opportunities available for Indian students in many universities. Sometimes some organizations like manpower recruitment agencies will be communicating about this to you because you will be paying some amount of fees. So you might know about some scholarship opportunities, but some things you will not know because they don't actually want to communicate it to you. So that's my last point. Immigration agents, education consultants will never talk about any of this stuff. The reason is they don't have any benefit. They don't receive any cash. So always keep that in mind. Don't think that whatever is told to you is actually the only available opportunity. Search for yourself. There are, the world is too vast. The opportunities are like unlimited. Search for that. You will find the right opportunity for you. And some interesting things, the top achievers in accounting, finance, economic field who actually started at a very normal level from India and who are now the leading researchers or the leading accounting or finance or economic professors in the world. Just some example for you. No, I don't want, no, you might think, okay, okay, starting, you are actually unlucky to have born in maybe a rural area, or maybe you have studied in a normal university. No, nothing like that. These are some of the people who actually use their hard work to reach top positions in the world. Actually, the first one, Lakshman Shivakumar, is actually one of my role model because I am quoting his research for my research. So I'm following his research articles. He's one of the leading person in accounting. He started with a BCom from Madras University. After that, he actually got a scholarship from one US university, and now he's like the London Business School professor in accounting, the top professor actually, the most leading and the most famous person who talks on BBC and all the stuff. So he started with a normal BCom qualification from Madras University. Okay, then Suraj Srinivasan of the Harvard Business School, says qualification. He was nowhere near the accounting profession. He have an MSc in physics from BITS Pilani and IIM Calcutta. Then he, with this qualification, he couldn't actually reach anywhere, but he used that to get a very good GMAT score, and he migrated to US. He did another master's and a PhD, and now he is actually one of the leading professor. Another person, I'm talking about these people because I have quoted these people in my research, and these are highly respected people, Indian faculty across the world, and the leading in their profession. Suraj Srinivasan is one of the leading professors in accounting and audit quality research in the world. Okay, see, he is like a physician. He is a physics graduate. Then VG Narayan of the Harvard Business School, a very senior professor. He's just a BCom graduate from Madras University. Then he did the chartered accounting qualification after that. Then he changed his career. So don't think that, what I'm trying to say is, don't think that, okay, you're doing your bachelor's or doing your master's from a particular place, your career is ending with that. Don't like subsidize your dreams. Don't think that your life will be limited. Try to dream bigger. You can actually reach any position. I'll give just my example. My first university, Matthew sir talked about the university rank I have secured during my studies. My first accounting marks for first university examination, you will not believe, it's 37 out of 100. My first financial accounting marks, MG University examination, my first marks was 37 out of 100. I was extremely poor in accounting, extremely poor. Not because I was a fool, maybe because I was lazy. I was not interested in the person who was teaching me accounting. But now I made a career out of that. I have like 3, 4 qualifications. I have from University of London. I have ACCA. Now I'm completing another PhD in accounting. Hopefully, maybe employed in a university soon. So now I actually people consider me as an expert in accounting. Many people. I'm not saying that I'm an expert, but things change. It's not how you start. It's how you're actually willing to change your future through hard work, through determination, through constant effort. You cannot stop searching for opportunities. You cannot keep trying. So another one, two people which were actually associated with the Reserve Bank of India, even though the government think that they are fools, V.V. Acharya and Raghuram Rajan. So they came as on deputation to work with the Reserve Bank of India from New York Stern University and Chicago Booth University. See their qualifications. Both were engineers. So they were engineers. They didn't actually pursue their career in engineering. What they did is they decided to use this qualification. Okay, this Viral Acharya is an economist. Raghuram Rajan is a finance professor. Okay, so they're doing nothing related to what they have studied. So they use their mathematical skills to crack the GMAT, GRE examinations. They got the top 5 percentile, above 95 percentile, and they got admission in these schools. And finally, they changed their career through hard work. So finally, to stop, some general advice: be thankful for the life you had. Never blame your parents, never blame the people around you, the teachers, because this is actually your destiny. The person who can actually change your life is you, not anyone else. You might be going through adverse situations personally or family wise, but be thankful for what you have got. Try to change it on your own. If you are really sincere about what you want in your life, it will come to you. Don't keep, don't stop working hard. Of course, you need to work smart also. Working hard is not always the solution. There are people who work hard for their university examination. Will they reach somewhere? Not sure. But smart work will be rewarding. Have some role models. Try to have some role models. Okay. I mean, so for example, for me, I will say my role model, like I mentioned, the people here I mentioned, see, Lakshman Shivakumar, Suraj Srinivasan, because I'm planning to become an academician. So I read their profiles, so how they started, how they actually reached this position, how they became the top people in their profession. Or I read the profiles of the CEOs in various companies, especially Indians, how they started. Because, the people who started like us, like have a normal beginning, so they will be my role models. My role model is not a politician, not a religious leader. I hate this kind of things because the mediocre people enter this religion and the politics related things in India, not in other countries. All the religious leaders are, most of them are like uneducated. Seriously, they have no idea about they have no idea about human anthropology. It's controversial, but this is personally my view. I don't want to discuss about any of this stuff. These are just my personal opinion. If you have any questions about this, maybe that's another time, not this time. So select your role models carefully. Okay. So if you want to become something in your life, then control the use of social media or cell phone. I know that you are like constantly connected, especially after the lockdown. So use these kind of things to identify new opportunities. Because the world, you cannot just die in a small town or maybe in a small city or in a small state. You have to see the world. You have to meet people. It's too big. It's too fabulous. Use your skills, use your education, knowledge to reach different stages. So use this technology that's provided to you, the social media, the cell phone for this kind of stuff, not for spreading hate, not for some propaganda messages like some religion or politics. I've seen people, that's what I want to say next. Do not be an extremist. That will harm your career, especially in a developed country like us. If you want to migrate to a foreign country, never express your extremist view in a social media platform, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, in Instagram. That will be backfiring when you're looking for a job in a decent organization, because here they actually check all the social media profiles before, especially like a person like me. If I'm getting employed in a university on a full time, they check all my social media profile. If I am like expressing any extremist view, I will be actually not considered. I will not be considered for a role. So be careful about what you post on social media. Don't express any extremist view. So for example, you cannot enter US. You cannot enter US on even a visit visa if you have expressed an extremist view in social media, whether it's related to religion or politics. So be careful about what you post. It is in your history. I think you might have recently noted about some incidents where old tweets, like 10, 20-year-old tweets came out from some sports people in UK. So this, it do not go away. It's there in the history. So don't be careless about what you post on the social media. It will really harm your career. Your career will be even, maybe you can just write out in the paper and just tear it off. That's it. Don't post it anywhere. If you have, don't argue with idiots. I know a person, there is one simple example. One Malayali guy is there. He have a PhD from a top institution in UK. He's doing his postdoctoral studies in another top 20 universities in the world. But he actually devalues himself by entering into arguments about religion and politics online. Okay, he no. When I read his social media page, one day he's talking about big research that is saving the human, like the mankind. He's something related to like as a medicine field. I don't want to give too much information. And next day, when I enter his social media page, I say "Poda patti poda tendi." This is what I see. Next page, next post. I mean, people are like getting too much disturbed about this kind of thing. So try to keep yourself away from the facts that or the things that disturb your mind, your career, your life. Always keep adding to your skill set. Never stop learning. So learn something new every day. Your search, nobody wants to know actually. Just see your search history, your Google Analytics, the suggestions that you get when you open the Facebook pages or any other pages. What suggestions you get? That tells who you are currently or what you want to become. So if you're getting decent suggestions, like productive ones, meaning you're actually changing. If you're getting like ആ നടി ചെയ്തത് എന്തെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഞെട്ടും ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള സജഷനൊക്കെയാണ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ കാര്യം കട്ടപ്പോവുകയാണ്. Okay, so that's my general advice. Now it's time for questions. So I know I have talked too much. Now if you have any questions, I'm coming back to you. Just a second. Okay, so I guess you have two options for asking the questions. One is you can put your questions in the chat box. I'll be trying to answer that, or you can switch on your mic and you can ask directly.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yep. Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, my name is Sanobi Thomas. I'm currently doing degree BCom Finance and with Grace International Academy.
Okay.
Sir, I am asking question on behalf of my friend who is currently participating from YouTube, so she can ask questions there. So she asked me if she is currently doing C intermediate in Kotte.
Okay.
So she asked me, once you clear out her papers, can she work or can she do her articleship abroad, like Germany or UK or in countries like that?
That is actually an issue because after completing the CA Inter, your experience that they count towards the articleship, the foreign like experience might not be counted because you have to confirm it with the chartered accounting body. It should be like an approved institution. So for example, if you're working in a big four organization where the work structure is already set and which might be acceptable, the experience might be acceptable to ICAI, then it's fine. But normally they don't accept, they're not flexible these days, but not like the international organizations like, ACCA, ICAW, they accept work experience in any organization if it's related to accounting and finance. But there is a little bit lack of flexibility with the Indian Chartered Accounting Organization, so they have to approach them on a personal basis and ask about that.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. So another question
And
that is, okay.
yeah, One thing I want to tell is, okay, Indian Chartered Accounting can be converted to foreign Chartered Accounting qualifications very easily if they are fully qualified. Okay, so for example, Indian Chartered Accountant fully qualified member can convert their qualification to ICAW UK or ACCA or many Australian CPA. So like that, they can convert it. Okay, so it's not a problem if they finish it fully, but after inter, it's not possible.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So my other friend asked, she is planning to do SSA after degree. So she asked me if there is any advantage of doing SSA after degree done when compared to a person who doing say, SSA just after from standard or just degree.
Actually, no, you said, is it about the same person doing the CA or?
No, sir, it's another person. It's another friend who's doing Kerala under Kerala University.
Okay, if my frank opinion, if you're planning to pursue a career in India, doing an SSA after degree is not at all advisable because your career growth opportunities are very minimum for a person who is studying SSA. But if you're planning to move to Middle East, or if you're planning to move to maybe a developed country like Canada is fine because you can convert SSA into Canadian CPA, or if you're planning to move to UK or maybe Australia, that's fine. But if you're planning to stay here, I will not advise doing SSA. Better do the Indian Chartered Accounting. That's the best.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one question in the chat box about US CPA. Okay, so you have now an option to do US CPA from Kerala, but I will not suggest doing US CPA from. I know it's controversial again. It's not advisable. The reason is, okay, you can pass the US CPA from here, but what will you do? After passing the US CPA, you need a job. You need US job to get a decent payment. Okay, there are a lot of CPAs in US already, and you're not going to get a job visa by from India directly unless your spouse or your partner is actually a US citizen. You cannot get a US job. It's not easy to migrate with a US CPA. You cannot migrate actually. You should do some backdoor things to actually enter US and search for jobs. And there are already a lot of CPAs in US. So after you qualify CPA from here, it's not going to help, I think. But if you're in US, okay, I agree. Yeah, next question. You can put your questions in the chat box or directly ask, whichever is coming.
Looks like there are not too many questions, Tejo.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Anybody wants to ask, please do. All your doubts you can ask.
Sir, I got one more question.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned that a graduate from UK can simply get into like artificial ഒരു കമ്പനിയുടെ അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട്
Okay.
ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ ഗ്രാജുവേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ അതുകൊണ്ട് പോസിബിലിറ്റീസ് ഉണ്ടോ?
Actually, I should be clear about that. It's not easy for international students to do that. Okay, because for accounting and finance is not a short skilled profession in UK. There are a lot of people who are settled here who are available for this job, so they will be preferred first. So it's not easy for international students, but if you are really skilled and now you have a post study visa of 2 years, you can use that to get a job. But I'm not saying that it's easy. Okay, it's not at all easy. But I should not actually suggest this kind of things. I've seen a lot of people who some of my students got married to nurses. They got the visa, came here, studied some course and got exceptionally good jobs. there are some indirect ways of doing that, because getting a visa is work visa is not at all easy, even if there is post study visa in Australia, Canada, UK. It's not easy to get a work visa. To be frank, I have to clearly say that.
Okay, sir, thank you.
No problem.
Tejo, one question which I want to ask is that it's about what I've seen in the last 2 3 years. A
Yeah.
lot of people are tended to join for ACCA and other things
Mm-hmm.
after +2. In fact, no say many of this no say fly-by-night operators I'm talking about go to school,
Mm-hmm.
basically manipulate these students to join
Mm-hmm.
even without a graduation. They say, no, you can get a professional degree in 3 years, 4 years. So you
Mm-hmm.
come and
Mm-hmm.
join. And that is the main revenues for the source for these fly-by-night operators, as I talked about. Is it a good move to actually leave without a degree and no say joining after basic +2?
If the students are extremely confident about their ability and their ability to pass the first 9 papers, then I will say it is fine. But what I have seen is that not all students have the ability to clear the 9 papers very easily. They have to spend a lot of money for the coaching, for the study materials, and after attempting the examinations many times, uh, it's not possible to clear all the 9 papers. So that means they are left without graduation. They have wasted like 3 or 4 years of their time, and they will not get any job at all. So that means it's better to actually enroll in a graduation program so that they are safe. Even if I didn't study ACCA by going to any institutions. What I did was I did it during my free time. So I wrote it slowly, like for example, 1 paper in a semester, 2 paper in a year, like that. While I was doing my PhD, while I was working, it might not be that easy. Better enroll for a good graduation program, then do this qualification so that you are not at risk. You cannot waste like 3 or 4 years of your time after your +2, your prime time to learn something new. And finally, if you don't have anything with you at the end of that year, it's going to be a disaster, a tragedy. So I will suggest better to enroll for a graduation, decent graduation program, an approved one. And if you have another graduation, that's fine. Yeah, you're passing 9 papers and you're getting a BSc from in professional accounting from University of what Oxford Brookes University. That's fine. That's an added advantage when you apply for your master's degree. But I will not suggest risking by enrolling to a professional accounting program on a full-time basis unless you are extremely confident about what you can do.
Hi, sir. I am Sonu George Matthew,
Yeah.
also studying in Grace National Academy, BCom.
Okay.
സാർ നേരെ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ഇതുമാതിരി മാത്സ് വലുതായിട്ട് ഇഷ്ടമില്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരായിരിക്കും കൂടുതൽ ഈ അക്കൗണ്ടൻസി എടുക്കുന്നത്. എനിക്കും അതേമാതിരി
Yes.
തന്നെയാണ്. ഞാനും
Okay.
അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഞാനും അങ്ങനെയാണ് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞ ബികോമിലോട്ട് കൊമേഴ്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ തന്നെ വന്നത്. അപ്പം
Mm-hmm.
അത് മാത്രമല്ല അപ്പം എനിക്ക് ബികോം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഫർദർ പഠിക്കേണ്ട എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ആഗ്രഹമായിരുന്നു ഞാൻ ആദ്യം.
Okay.
അങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു ഇപ്പം വിചാരിച്ചത്. ഒരു ജോലി കിട്ടുക, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ജോലി കിട്ടി അതനുസരിച്ച് പോവാനാണ് ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ചത്.
Mm-hmm.
അപ്പം
Okay.
അത് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണോ നല്ലത്, അതോ എന്താ ഈ ഒരു ബികോം പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇനി ജോലിയാണോ നല്ലത്, അതോ ഹയർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ആണോ?
എന്നോട് ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ പറയും ജോലിയാണ് നല്ലത്. റീസൺ വളരെ ക്ലിയർ ആണ്. നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് നാട്ടിൽ പഠിക്കുന്നവർക്ക് ഒരു യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി സ്ട്രക്ചറിൽ അങ്ങനെ ഫോളോ ചെയ്ത് പോകും. അതായത് they finish their graduation, their post graduation, and then they look for job. Actually, my feeling is when they go for post graduation, when they try to specialize in something, they should have some idea regarding how the workplace look like and what skills they need at the workplace. Okay, so it's better. I'll suggest maybe you work for some years. That's what the people here do. Here in developed countries, people never go for post-graduation studies immediately after their graduation. Very, very minimum. Most of the international students, most of the students who are studying the masters. I was teaching in MSc in accounting and finance course in the University of Aberdeen. In my class, around 75% of the students are actually international students. I mean, some are Europeans, some are people from India, Africa. So most of the postgraduate students have did their bachelor's from countries like maybe Asian countries or African countries or Middle East countries. They don't have any idea about how the workplace looks like. So them just the country is making money out of their fees payment to the economy. That's it. So I will suggest better you go for work for some years, then decide what you need to do. Maybe you identify, there is a period of self-realization, what you're really good at. Everyone is actually good at something. So try to use that opportunity to identify what's your real skill, whether it's in accounting, whether it's some other field, or do you need any specialization? Try to specialize in that area after that.
Thank
So
you,
I
sir.
hope, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else wants to ask questions? If you don't want to ask straight, you can actually say ask him through the chat box. He's able to read it.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Yeah, fine.
Sir, my name is Sandra Johnson, and I'm
Okay.
from HSM SPB MSS College, Niramanthara, Trivandrum. Sir, ഞാൻ
Okay.
എനിക്ക് ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു ബികോം കഴിഞ്ഞതിന് ശേഷം എബ്രോഡ് പോയി പഠിക്കാൻ താല്പര്യമുണ്ട്. അപ്പം ഞാൻ
Okay.
ഒരു ഏജൻസി അന്വേഷിച്ചപ്പോൾ അവർ പറഞ്ഞതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് 4 വർഷത്തെ കോഴ്സ് ആണെങ്കിലേ നമുക്ക് എബ്രോഡ് MBA ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെന്നാണ് അവർ പറഞ്ഞത്. അത് ശരിക്കും
അത് ഏത് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി, ഏത് കൺട്രിയാണ് നോക്കിയത്?
ഞാൻ UK.
അത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി ഫോൾസ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ആണത്. കാരണം നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നോർമലി 3 years ഉള്ളൂ. ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ് നേരെ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സിന് വരാൻ യാതൊരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഇല്ല. അത് പിന്നെ നോക്കുന്ന യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി പോലെ ഇരിക്കും. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഇഷ്യൂ ഇല്ല ആക്ച്വലി. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ ഒരിക്കലും ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ് നേരെ UK പോലൊരു സ്ഥലത്ത് വന്ന് MBA ചെയ്യാൻ ഒരിക്കലും അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യില്ല. ദ റീസൺ, ദ പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ആർ ഡൂയിങ് ഹിയർ MBA അവർ നല്ല വർക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള ആൾക്കാരാണ്. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ആൾക്കാരുടെ കൂടെ ആയിരിക്കും ക്ലാസ്സിൽ വരുന്നത്. സോ യു വിൽ ബി കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി ഔട്ട് ഓഫ് പ്ലേസ്. കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി നമുക്ക് അവരുടെ ഒരു മിസ്മാച്ച് ആയിരിക്കും. നോർമലി ദേ ഷെയർ ഫ്രം ദെയർ വർക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ദേ ലേൺ സബ്ജക്ട് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലുള്ള ഒരു കൾച്ചറാണ് വെറുതെ ബാച്ചിലേഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് നേരെ പോയി MBA ചെയ്യുന്നത്. MBA is like a general course. Normally people who are working in the company, they try to enroll for MBA when they reach managerial positions, when they have the potential to go for like managerial positions. Otherwise, what people do is during their masters is just get specialized in a particular field, whether it's accounting or finance or economics, or maybe like minute areas of accounting, like for example financial accounting or financial analysis, something like that. I will not recommend, if you ask me, to do an MBA immediately after, but getting an admission is not at all a problem. That is, if you can, you don't have to approach an agent. Agents will be taking commission out of your fees payments. You can directly deal with the universities. Universities in UK or any developed country are extremely friendly with the student recruitment. Don't confuse our universities like the Kerala University, MG University, Calicut University staff with the university staff here. Even though they are public employees, they are extremely helpful, extremely respectful. So they will be advising you the right way of doing the things. The universities will never actually cheat you. If some universities are cheating you, giving you fake promises, they will be in trouble here. But if agents cheat, you cannot do anything. That's like a regular thing. So I will advise, try to deal directly. The website is very open. You can go to the website, make the application directly, or there is an official website for that, UCAS. So you can make the application. I never approached an agent for any of the studies, all the scholarships, everything. I searched it personally and I got it. So don't go through agents. They will say that you will be in trouble. They will try to frighten you, saying that you will be in trouble, you will not get visa easily. Everything is actually available online. Whatever directions you need, it's given by the government. If you go to gov.uk website, they clearly give you all the guidelines regarding what you need to do. So you don't have to depend on agents. What they do is just take your money. That's it. Hope I have answered it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think things haven't changed in Kerala. I think people have always hesitant in asking questions.
It's same actually everywhere, sir. No problem, because even after we shifted to online class, even here also, after I finish the class, I will not be getting questions directly. I get the questions maybe after by way of email, but I fear I will not be able to answer all the emails later. So it's better you ask it now itself.
Okay.
Whatever things I have talked today is what I wanted uh, me to know as a student when I studied, because nobody told me about opportunities abroad or opportunities in India. So my professor told me, okay, you are studying MCOM, maybe you can go for civil service, or maybe you can go for teaching career. He told me, okay, maybe you can get employment as a guest lecturer in some aided college. You can get 10,000 per month. That was back in 2006. So these are the career advices that my professors gave. I'm not blaming them because they don't have much exposure. So this should not happen to this generation. So you should search. You don't believe. You don't have to believe all the agents or the people who are giving you education advice. Most of them are doing it for their business. That's their business. They're making money out of it. So try to do your own search, what suits you. Spend some time. I have spent almost 4 or 5 years before advising people regarding the opportunities across the world. If you're really good in a particular subject, there are ways in which you can learn it free. Seriously, most of the education institutions abroad are actually funded by the government, funded by charitable organizations. So they are in a position to provide a scholarship to eligible students from some countries, especially poor countries. So there are a lot of scholarships, there are a lot of opportunities. So try to use that. Don't depend on the agents. Don't depend on what is easily available to you. The fruitful things, the best things actually is hidden from you.
Sir, we can do it in online according
Sorry?
courses. Sir, we can do it in according in online courses like upgrade and all.
Actually, online courses maybe. Sorry, there is some sound
Upgrade.
disturbance. Upgrade. Okay, I have no idea about that. Actually, I've not seen any courses like that. But I give some general advice regarding that. Always, you should have some basic qualification from an approved university structure, which anybody will approve. When you go to an employer or when you go for higher education, you should have one qualification. Then anything you add to that will be considered as a value-added thing. Okay. So there are a lot of platforms. I have not heard about HighGrad, but there are a lot of online platforms which even give higher qualifications from recognizable or top universities, even from Harvard or Stanford or London Business School, London School of Economics, certificate programs, postgraduate certificates. So you can do that, but make sure that you study one course full time and you add it to the CV so that it helps with your employment and further education.
Sir, is there any without maths any accounting is there? Without maths.
Without maths,
learn that course.
ഞാൻ ഉള്ളത് സത്യമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അക്കൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ബേസിക്കലി മാത്സ് ആണ്. അതായത് മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ എബിലിറ്റി ഇല്ലാത്ത ഒരാൾക്ക്
ചെറിയ മാത്സ് വലിയ മാത്സ്
ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് എന്താണ് ശരിക്കും? ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ഏരിയ പറയാം. I think Fatima, your mic is on, so that's why the disturbance. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. So can you come back to the question once again? What do you mean by?
ചെറിയ മാത്സ് കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
എന്താണ് ചെറിയ മാത്സ് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്? ഏത് ഏരിയയാണ് ചെറിയ മാത്സ് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്?
സറി കൂട്ടാനും കുറയ്ക്കാനും കുഴപ്പമില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഈ ചെറിയ അതേ കണക്കും ഇത് കണക്കും ഉള്ള സംഭവങ്ങളാണ്.
ലാസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞു ഞാൻ കേട്ടില്ല, ഏതാ പറഞ്ഞു?
സാർ ഈ അൽജീബ്ര ഇത് കണക്കുള്ള സംഭവങ്ങളൊക്കെ എക്സും വൈയും അതേപോലത്തെ സംഭവങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു.
ബേസിക്കലി ഞാനൊരു കാര്യം പറയട്ടെ. എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഇൻസൈറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ഈ ബേസിക്കലി ഞാനും വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് ഈ ആൽജിബ്ര ഇതൊക്കെ എന്ത്, ബട്ട് ആക്ച്വലി അത് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ബേസിക് മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ സ്കിൽസിന്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗമാണത്. ബിക്കോസ് നോയിങ് ലൈക്ക് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റിംഗ് ദ അൺനോൺ ഫാക്ടർ ഫ്രം ദ ഗിവൻ ഫാക്ട്സ്, ഇതൊക്കെ ഒരു ഒപ്റ്റിമൈസേഷൻ നമ്മൾ അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്ങിലും ഇതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. ബിക്കോസ് ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, some figures will be already given to you, so from that you have to estimate the missing figures. So ഈ ആൽജിബ്ര എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്ങിൽ ഒരു കോൺസ്റ്റന്റ് ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ഉള്ള ഒരു സംഭവമാണ്. അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്ങിൽ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് മാത്സ് ഇല്ലാത്ത അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്, മാത്സ് ഉള്ള അക്കൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് ഡിവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല ആക്ച്വലി. അപ്പൊ എന്നോട് ആര് ചോദിച്ചാലും ഞാൻ പറയും അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്ങിന് മാത്സ്, മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ സ്കിൽസ് അത് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് എല്ലാ ഏരിയയിലും. എന്താ പ്രോബ്ലം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മളിത് പഠിപ്പിച്ചപ്പോൾ ആരും ഇതിന്റെ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻസോ ഒന്നും പഠിപ്പിച്ചില്ല. എക്സാമിന് സ്കോർ ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളത് മാത്രമേ പഠിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അതായിരിക്കണം ഒരു പക്ഷേ. പിന്നെ വേറൊരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്, വി ഹാവ് എ മിസ്കൺസെപ്ഷൻ ദാറ്റ് വി ഡോണ്ട് ലൈക്ക് ഓർ വി ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ദ സ്കിൽസ് ഇൻ എ പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ സബ്ജക്ട്. അത് പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു എന്താ പറയുന്നത്, അത് സത്യമല്ല. ബിലീവ് മീ, ഞാൻ ആക്ച്വലി ട്രിഗണോമെട്രിയും കാൽക്കുലസും എനിക്ക് പറ്റില്ല എന്ന് വിചാരിച്ച ഒരാളാണ്. But now I ended up teaching others like how this actually things work out. അതൊക്കെ അങ്ങനെ സംഭവിക്കും. നമ്മൾ റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്യില്ല. മേ ബി ഇറ്റ്സ് ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ് ദ പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ടോട്ട് us, or maybe because of a background we think that we don't actually have the skill in certain things. ബട്ട് ചിലപ്പോൾ അതായിരിക്കും നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ സ്കിൽ എന്ന്. ഞാൻ ഓൾറെഡി നിങ്ങളോട് പറഞ്ഞില്ല, എൻ്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് അക്കൗണ്ടിങ് മാർക്ക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 37 ആണ്. ഞാൻ അതിൽ നിന്ന് നെക്സ്റ്റ് എൻ്റെ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റീസ്, ഞാൻ ഇതിന് സ്കോർ ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി എനിക്ക് 98 out of 100 ആയിരുന്നു നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ. അപ്പം അതൊന്നും ഒരു കാര്യമല്ല. നമ്മുടെ പുവർ പെർഫോമൻസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഒരു പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ താല്പര്യമില്ല എന്ന് നമുക്ക് തോന്നുന്നതായിരിക്കാം ഒരു പക്ഷെ. സോ ഡോണ്ട് കൺഫ്യൂസ് ഇറ്റ് ടു ബി യുവർ ഓൺലി സ്കിൽ ആക്ച്വലി. Don't hate maths, okay? I've seen like a lot of people making fun of maths teachers and maths professors, maths lecturers. You know, it's ഇന്ത്യൻസിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയൊരു സ്ട്രെങ്ത് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ സ്കൂളിൽ നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്ന മാത്സ് ആണ്. ഇവിടുത്തെ സ്കൂളിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ UK, ഇംഗ്ലണ്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്കോട്ട്ലൻഡിലെ സ്കൂൾസിലൊക്കെ നമ്മളൊക്കെ പഠിക്കുന്നതിന്റെ പകുതി പോലും പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നില്ല. ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മൾക്ക് ഒരു ഡിസഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ആണ്, എന്നാൽ അതേസമയം അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ആണ്. നമ്മൾ ആവശ്യമില്ലാതെ തന്നെ കുറെ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ എന്താ ഗുണം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ സ്കിൽസ് ഒക്കെ നമുക്ക് ശരിക്കും യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇന്ത്യൻസ് നോർമലി മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ സ്കിൽസിലും സയൻസിന്റെ കാര്യത്തിലും എക്സ്ട്രീംലി ടാലന്റഡ് ആണ്, അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്ങിലും. അതാണ് ഞാൻ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നേരത്തെ കാണിച്ച പ്രൊഫസേഴ്സിന്റെ കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞത്. എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പോലും അക്കൗണ്ടിങ് പ്രൊഫസേഴ്സ്, അല്ലെ അക്കൗണ്ടിങ്, എക്കണോമിക്സ്, ഫിനാൻസിന്റെ വേൾഡിലെ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് അല്ല, അവർ വേൾഡിലെ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് ആണ്. ലോകത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷനിലെ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് പ്രൊഫസേഴ്സ് ആണ്. നമ്മൾക്കത് ഇല്ല എന്ന് അസ്യൂം ചെയ്യേണ്ട. ടേക്ക് സം ടൈം ടു think about our skills. Maybe കുറച്ച് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്യും എനിക്ക് കഴിവില്ല എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ച ഒരു ഏരിയയിലായിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ കഴിവ്. Then I got a question here in the chat box. Career of an academician in the area of commerce. So if I'm talking about the Kerala scenario or maybe Indian scenario, the only way in which you can get a good teaching career as an academician in India is by getting employment through government organization like PSC or maybe central, or otherwise you should have a PhD qualification from a leading institution like IIM or maybe some IIT organization. So നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നല്ലൊരു PhD ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ of course you can get a reasonable, like for example, even with the commerce, if you have a PhD in accounting or finance from IIM Calcutta or maybe IIM Ahmedabad, it's extremely competitive. You should get like about 95% score in the CAT examination if you want to be considered for an admission. But you know, it's 100% free and you will get a stipend for doing that. But if you complete like a PhD from there, of course you have good options. Even if you have studied commerce, that's fine. But ഒരു നോർമൽ ഒരു പ്രൈവറ്റ് സെക്ടറിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കൊമേഴ്സിൽ ഒരു കരിയർ ഉണ്ടാക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ്സ് എക്സ്ട്രീംലി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട്. എയ്ഡഡ് കോളേജിലൊക്കെ അറിയാമല്ലോ, ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാവരും അഡ്മിഷൻ ഇവിടെ ടീച്ചിങ് പൊസിഷനൊക്കെ വാങ്ങിക്കുന്നത് 40 lakhs to 1 crore ഒക്കെയാണ് ഓരോ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻസ് ഒക്കെ വാങ്ങിക്കുന്നത്. അതിനുള്ള ഇതൊന്നും ഇല്ല ആക്ച്വലി. എനിക്ക് പരിചയമുള്ള ചില ആൾക്കാർ തന്നെ 40 lakhs 50 lakhs ഒക്കെ കൊടുത്താണ് ടീച്ചിങ് പൊസിഷനൊക്കെ പ്രൈവറ്റ് സെക്ടറിൽ കയറുന്നത്. So I have never given a single rupee to anyone for my employment. എനിക്ക് ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞു, ഒരു ഞാൻ കോളേജിന്റെ പേരൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല, ഇന്ന സ്ഥലത്ത് ഇത്ര പൈസ കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കിട്ടും എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു എനിക്ക് വേണ്ട, എനിക്ക് ആവശ്യമില്ല, ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ സ്വന്തം നിലയ്ക്ക് ജീവിച്ചോളാം. എനിക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ അങ്ങനെ പൈസ ഉണ്ടായില്ല. ഞാൻ കമ്മിങ് ഫ്രം ലൈക്ക് ലോവർ മിഡിൽ ക്ലാസ് ഫാമിലി. ഞാൻ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ കോഴ്സുകളെല്ലാം ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത്, SSC എല്ലാം ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത് ഞാൻ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തുണ്ടാക്കിയ പൈസ കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ്. എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ പേരൻസിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടിയ പൈസ കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ ചെയ്ത ആകെ ഉള്ളത് BCom, MCOMും ഇല്ല, BCom വരെ, എൻ്റെ ബാച്ചിലേഴ്സ് വരെ മാത്രമേ എൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയുടെ സപ്പോർട്ട് കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ബാക്കിയുള്ള ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ MSc in Professional Accounting from University of London, or my SSCA qualification, my PhD, everything I have done with my own earnings. I started working. So don't actually strain your parents with all your dreams. നിങ്ങൾ തന്നെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് തന്നെ അത് അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യുക. എനിക്ക് ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു കരിയറിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് നിങ്ങൾ പൈസ ഒക്കെ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനോട് ഞാൻ ഒരിക്കലും അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യില്ല. നിങ്ങളുടെ പൈസ ആണെങ്കിൽ ഓക്കെ, ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് യുവർ ഓൺ ഹാർഡ് ഏൺ മണി, അതിനൊരു വാല്യൂ ഉണ്ടാവും നിങ്ങൾ അത് കോഴ്സ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ. നെവർ സ്ട്രെയിൻ യുവർ ഫാമിലി ടു മച്ച്.
If there are no questions, shall we move on to the vote of thanks? Anybody else wants to ask any questions? Okay, so thank you, Thejo. I think we'll move to the vote of thanks.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So, എൻ്റെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്ന് my thanks actually to Matthew sir and all the people at the Grace International Academy. I know I'm actually in the list of the visiting faculty. I couldn't actually like visit Kerala after the institution started. I promised that once I reach Kerala, I was actually planning to come last year, but because of the lockdown, it didn't happen. So maybe next year in 2022, if I am getting a chance to visit Kerala, I will of course come to Grace International Academy and try to meet all of you. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I always wanted to talk people from our place, from Kerala, because we are the people who have like a lot of misconception about accounting education, about what career options we have. We are too much limited with our dreams and our ambitions. So I wanted to actually give some input to what you can actually do after you finish your graduation, because I started from a normal level. I did my BCom and MCom from Sacred Heart College, Thejo, from MG University. Then I moved, I worked hard. I decided, okay, I need to do something. I need to get out of all this. If I want a good career, I want to do something on my own. So I didn't have the money, so I worked hard. I used that for making a career. So you can also do that. I wanted to motivate people from coming from different backgrounds to do so. It's possible. Don't think that, okay, no, try to aim or dream bigger. So of course you can actually achieve that. So that's from me. Okay, now over to you, Matthew sir.
Alan Shajan will give the vote of thanks.
Respected principal, Dr. PMSC, our respected Dr. Thejo George, our faculties, dear students, and participants. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks for this webinar. I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. P.M. for conducting such an event, our guest faculty, Dr. Thejo George, for enlightening with the knowledge. Of your Lord, thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank the organizing convener, Ms. Renu George, and her team for organizing this webinar. I would like to thank my friends, Sonu George and Ibrahim, who work behind the video. I would like to thank the technical team who work behind the curtain to facilitate this webinar in a smooth manner. Today's session was indeed an illuminating one, which gave a sense of direction to all who was aspiring for a career in accounting. You have been able to cross frontiers and was able to go in depth on every issue which was important to anyone remotely interested in this career path. I'm running short of words to express my humble thanks to Grace International College and webinar organizers. I thank all the participants and students for their wholehearted cooperation and support. Thank you.
Thejo, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. All the best for your career. I will try to I'm very happy to actually help you with any advice, but it's not practically possible to advise you on a personal basis through email or. But I will try if you can actually. If you have like a serious doubts regarding anything, I'm happy to help you because I always am interested in helping people who want a career advice. I want to motivate to people. To cross the barriers and move like to become an international citizen. My ambition is like that. I want my dream is to become an international citizen, employable anywhere in the world. That was one of my dream I had. I didn't actually mention it, but my first job, I was actually threatened by my employer because he thought I was a little bit arrogant. Actually, it was a priest. He thought I was a little bit arrogant. Maybe I was a bit overconfident, and he actually threatened me that, okay, you will be losing your employment. I said, no, I don't care. Then I left on my own. And at that point of time, I didn't get a job immediately because I was overconfident that people will be waiting to employ me, but that didn't happen. At that point of time, when I got insulted, I decided I will make sure that in future, I will get employment anytime, any place I want. But it took a lot of time. Even now, it's not completely achieved. I'm trying to make a career here, so it's possible. It's through hard lessons you learn your life. So all the best. I hope you achieve. I hope you can actually get a wonderful career. So God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tejo.